back to FlexCandle, where we read the candles and flex the moves. I'm Flex, and today we're diving into a full top-down analysis on Bitcoin. We're going to start from the higher time frames, work our way down to the lower time frames, and check to see if we find any good setups. Now remember, this is not financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor. Alright guys, so it's 5:24 p.m. Eastern time. We have about 2.5 hours before the daily and the weekly candle closes, and right now the price of Bitcoin is at $99,389. And before we start off with the weekly chart, we're going to start off here with the 4-hour chart so we could see these winning trades. A couple of days ago I told you I see Bitcoin on the 4-hour chart in a head and shoulder pattern, which are these yellow highlights here, that would take us all the way down to approximately 98,192. And as you can see, based off of this wick here, this is exactly what we hit. Within that head and shoulder pattern, I had another smaller head and shoulder pattern, which I highlighted here in blue, that would take us down to 99,450. That was the first one that hit, and now the second one has also hit. So if you guys did short Bitcoin, congratulations on this winning trade. I hate shorting Bitcoin, but a win is a win, guys. So let's start off now actually with the 2-week chart, because this also closes in about 2.5 hours. And as you can see here, the stochastics were on the way up, but if we zoom in, we can actually see that it kind of wants to start curving down. This is going to be bearish for Bitcoin. We are far away from the 21-day moving average, which is currently at 90,374. We have a big red engulfing candle here. We have wicks on top. This is kind of showing me that this could be our next move, especially with all this war news that has been happening. Now in the weekly chart, again, this closes in 2.5 hours. Stochastics are pointing down. I'm seeing more downside. The 21-day moving average is now at 94,470. We're only about $5,000 away, so we're not too far. So this could be good, because maybe if the stochastics reset by the time we touch the 21-day moving average, maybe we're able to at least bounce up from there. I do have this currently in a flag. We fell out of the flag, so maybe I'll readjust it. Let's see how it closes. I've seen Bitcoin do weirder stuff before. By the time you know it, the candle closes and all of a sudden it's green. So let's wait and see what ends up happening with that. But it's technically is not really looking good. It looks like we're going to have more downside. Again, a lot of wicks up here. We have not been able to break this resistance. Been telling you guys for months now, everything looked bullish, but there's also a possibility of a double top here, and it's starting to look like that. We're also getting some bearish divergence. As you can see, from this point to this point, you can see it kind of slants up, but the RSI from this point to this point kind of slants down. So that is bearish divergence. Stochastics are high. I'm seeing more downside. If we take a look at the stochastics on the other days, on the 6th day, pointing down, look, you can see the bearish divergence here is showing it to you. You see the RSI is also pointing down, the red candles. On the 5-day, we still look like we want to go down, bearish divergence as well. We're starting to see that the 50-day moving average here might end up crossing the 21-day moving average. You never want to have a higher number moving average crossing a lower moving average. That ends up being bearish. You want them all to be in order: the 21, the 50, the 80, the 100, the 200. You don't want the 50 and then the 21. The 4-day is not looking too bad. We're still going to be here for a while. We could even drag here for a while, but at least we're getting close to the bottom. We are touching the 21 moving average. If we lose that, the next stop is the 50 moving average, which is at 95,659. On the 3-day, stochastic still on the way down. We lost the 21 moving average. That's bearish. On the 2-day, we weren't able to come back up. We rolled over. Now we're trying to bowl out here on the bottom. We lost the 21 by a lot, and now we're getting into this cluster of moving averages here. So it looks like the next stop could be 95K. Been calling that for a while now. And now on the daily chart, we lost the 21. We were not able to maintain it. We lost the 50. I was telling you the next stop is the 80. Just like I said, right on the 80 moving average. And we still have room here to continue going down and dragging here for a little bit. The next stop is the 200, which is at 95,941. And it kind of looks like that is where we're going to go. I would say I'm probably expecting a bounce from there, but that bounce would just be probably to that 80 moving average. If we're lucky, we make it back to the 50 moving average, but we have this blocking us as this 80 moving average. So now that we lost 100K, that becomes resistance, and we have not been able to get above 100K again ever since we lost it. We've been in the 98K region. The 22-hour chart, it's resetting. We're on the bottom here. It looks to come back up, but look, we lost all the averages. The next stop again, the 200. Everything's correlating to this number, 95,539. Everything's correlating to 95K. 12-hour chart, stochastics are still dipping down. We lost all the averages again, heading for the 200 moving average. Where is it? At 95,559. 10 hour, we lost the 200 moving average. Now the 200 moving average is at 101,512. We lost it there. This is our next line of support is 95. If we lose 95, then we're going to go lower. We'll possibly go to 90K and possibly even lower than that. It all depends on what's happening with all this war news. Is really getting bad out there. The 10 hour, where we spoke about that. The 8 hour, the stochastics still on the bottom. The good thing is that on a lot of these time frames, the stochastics are low, so I do expect some type of a rebound, but that's just going to be a bearish retest possibly for the most part. And if we can't make it above those averages when we get back up there, then I do expect more downside. 6 hour stochastics are low, but if we zoom in, look there, they want to roll over again. So again, we might be stuck down here for a while. On the 4 hour chart, below all the moving averages, we're starting to create a bear flag here. As you can see, look, rolling over again. We have not been able to maintain the 21 moving average for a long time. The last time was when we were all over here. Ever since then, look, just more downside. So unless we can regain this 21 moving average at 103,020, everything's bearish. So right now, guys, I am bearish. I am seeing more downside for Bitcoin. 1 hour chart, we can go up. Look at the stochastics, wanting to roll over again. This is a bear flag right here. With this bear flag, the measured move would be taking us down to, again, 95,353. Everything's correlating to 95K, guys. That looks like the next region that we're going to be hitting. Let me finish putting the bear flag here. So there you go, 95,730, 95K. Today is Sunday. Tomorrow, you know, while all these attacks happen in Iran, the stock market has been closed. So tomorrow we're really going to see the effect. And if we start seeing the S&P 500 falling, Tesla, Apple, all these stocks, that's also going to bring crypto even further down. If we go to the 15-minute chart, stochastics are toppy. We're below the 21. So right now, guys, the resistance is going to be 100K. We need to get above that as soon as possible. If we cannot, everything is pointing to 95K or lower. All right, guys, so that's the breakdown. If this gave you clarity or a setup to watch, do me a favor, like, drop a comment, subscribe. And if you have a stock or crypto you want me to go over, drop it in the comment section. This is FlexCandle, where we read the candles and flex the moves. Catch you on the next chart.